A lock of Marilyn Monroe's hair arrived in an envelope with 5 words. I watch you sleep sometimes. The man who sent it wasn't a stranger. He was someone she trusted. And tonight, he was planning to take her. January 15th, 1960, Stage 12 at 20th Century Fox. Marilyn Monroe was filming Let's Make Love, and everything should have been perfect. But right now, standing alone in her dressing room at 7:30 in the morning, staring at the envelope that had been slipped under her door, Marilyn Monroe was terrified. She opened it with shaking hands. The letter started like the others, "My dearest Marilyn," but taped inside was something that made her breath stop, a lock of blonde hair tied with white ribbon. Her hair. She recognized the ribbon immediately, satin trim from her favorite nightgown, the one she kept in her bedroom closet in Brentwood. Below the hair, 5 words. I watch you sleep sometimes. Someone had been inside her house, inside her bedroom, while she was sleeping. The envelope was cream-colored, expensive paper, her name written in that same careful handwriting she'd come to recognize over the past 3 weeks. At first, the letters had been sweet, but then they changed. They became personal, too personal. She kept reading. I wanted to keep a piece of you close to my heart, the way you're always close to my thoughts. You look so peaceful when you dream, so beautiful, so mine. The studio had laughed off the earlier letters. Overzealous fans, they said. Harmless. But this wasn't love. This was something darker. A sound in the hallway made her jump. Just footsteps. But her heart wouldn't stop racing. She lives alone now, just her and Mrs. Murray, who was 68 and wouldn't hear an intruder. The divorce from Arthur had been finalized 6 months ago. Now that solitude felt like vulnerability, the studio had given her 3 days. 3 days to return to filming or they'd replace her. Marilyn folded the letter carefully, placed it with all the others she'd been hiding in her locked makeup case. She reached for the telephone and dialed. Robert Chen answered on the second ring. Robert, it's Marilyn. What's wrong? I need your help. I didn't know who else to call. Where are you? Are you safe? Fox Studios, Stage 12. But I can't have anyone see you. My house. Tonight. 8 o'clock? I'll be there. Marilyn, if anything changes, you call me immediately. She hung up. Help was coming. But Robert's last words echoed. How many people have keys to your house? That night, Robert arrived at her Brentwood home exactly at 8 o'clock. Marilyn had changed into simple slacks and a sweater, hair pulled back, makeup removed. She wanted him to see her, not the mask. She led him to the dining room where she'd laid out all 15 letters. She watched his face as he read them, watched his mask slip when he got to the one with her hair attached. How long has this been happening? 3 weeks? Maybe a month? When did you first notice someone might have been in your house? This morning. The hair, the ribbon. It came from my bedroom. Where do you keep your spare key? Under the mat by the kitchen door. Robert stood abruptly, walked to the kitchen, tested the door. He came back frowning. We're changing your locks tonight. All of them. A car passed outside. Marilyn flinched. Marilyn, whoever is writing these letters knows your schedule. They know when you're home, when you're at the studio, when you're alone. This isn't someone watching from a distance. This is someone close. What do? We set a trap. But first, tell me about this presence you've felt. Like someone watching. It's been weeks. This feeling like someone standing just behind me. At premieres. At the studio. Even here. You're not paranoid. When I worked for the FBI, I was Chinese in an organization that didn't always see past that. It taught me that when someone says they're afraid, you believe them. Fear doesn't lie. So what's the plan? We give him what he wants. We let him think he's getting closer, but we control the environment. Looking at these letters, the handwriting changes. I think there might be more than one person watching you. More than one. The premiere is in 2 weeks. That's when they'll try something. And if something goes wrong, then I'll make sure I'm standing between you and them. 2 days later, Robert spread all 15 letters across Marilyn's dining room table at 2 in the morning. What he saw in the handwriting made his blood run cold. A sound outside made them both freeze. Robert's hand went to his weapon. Just a car passing. Robert's finger traced along the handwriting. The penmanship was careful, controlled, but it changed as the letters progressed. The loops got tighter. The pressure increased until some words nearly tore through. Marilyn, come look at this. See this phrase? You belong to the world, but you belong to me first. It appears in every single letter. It's a psychological signature. Whoever wrote these letters, this phrase is central to their delusion. Robert pulled out Marilyn's calendar. These letters don't arrive randomly. This one came the day after the Jack Parr show. This one after the Golden Globes. Every single letter corresponds to a public appearance. He's watching you, in person. The details are too specific. That's someone who was there. Robert moved to the letter with her hair attached. This required access to your home. He's escalating, and the way the letters are folded, it's different from letter 12 onward. I think we have two people. We're going to stop them. But whoever this is, they know things only someone in your inner circle could know. This letter mentions your nightmares about being late to set, your chamomile tea, your dog's name. I've narrowed it to 6 people with regular access. You think it's someone I work with? A crew member, an assistant, a driver, someone invisible. Robert gathered the letters. The premiere is in 12 days. That's when they'll try something. But Robert, if we're using me as bait, what if you can't stop them in time? Then I'll make sure I'm standing between you and them. You want me to keep living my life normally? Marilyn laughed, hollow. Maybe that's exactly what will catch them off guard. Dawn was breaking. Marilyn stood, walked to the window. She tested the lock. Once, twice, 3 times. You'll maintain your schedule. But every moment, someone on my team will be watching. So I'll be bait, protected bait. Tell me what you're feeling. Afraid. I check the locks 3 times before bed now. I jump at every sound. I'm terrified, but I'm also angry. Use that anger. What if we use their belief that they understand you against them? They think they love the real you. So we give them glimpses. Things that make you look alone. Accessible. I have one condition. When we catch them, I want to face them. I want to understand why. That's not safe. My whole life isn't safe. But I refuse to be afraid without understanding what I'm afraid of. All right. When we catch them, you can face them, but only with me present. Deal. I've been thinking about what you said, about always feeling watched. Have you noticed anything? I can't picture a face. But there's this presence, like someone standing just behind me. That's your subconscious recognizing a pattern. Trust it. Next time you feel it, touch your left earring. My team will document everyone in your vicinity. She had 11 days until the premiere. The clock was ticking. If you've ever felt that someone was watching you, that your fear was real even when others dismissed it, hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will show you why trusting your instincts can save your life. The premiere of Let's Make Love would be Marilyn's most public appearance in months, and somewhere in that crowd, her stalkers would be watching. If they didn't catch them now, they'd disappear forever. February 4th, 1960, the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood. The crowd pressed against the barriers 3 deep, thousands of faces waiting for her. Marilyn sat in the limousine 2 blocks away. For the first time in her career, she wasn't worried about her makeup. She was worried about staying alive. She paused, closed her eyes. Behind her, thousands of fans. Inside, at least one stalker was waiting. She could run. But then what? Live in fear forever? No. Tonight, she hunted back. Robert's voice came through the earpiece hidden beneath her curls. We're in position. 7 agents in the crowd, 4 inside, 2 on the rooftops. She touched the earpiece. The driver opened her door. The roar hit her like a wave. Flashbulbs exploded. Marilyn Monroe stepped onto that red carpet in a shimmering white gown, and she smiled. But this time, the smile was armor. She moved slowly down the carpet. Every face she passed, she studied. Then she felt it. That presence. Someone watching her differently. Not with scattered attention, but with focus. Intensity, possession. Her hand went to her left earring. The signal, Robert's voice, calm. We see it. Keep moving. She forced herself to keep walking. A reporter thrust a microphone toward her. Marilyn, you look stunning. She turned on the breathiness. Oh, it's just wonderful. 5 more steps. The feeling slammed back. Stronger. Closer. She adjusted her earring again. Second signal. Keep walking. We have multiple possibilities. Then it returned, sharper, so intense she could barely breathe. Right behind her. Third signal. Emergency protocol. She saw Robert across the crowd, scanning, searching. Then she saw him. A man near the theater entrance, perfectly still, just watching her with certainty. Marilyn's breath caught. She looked at Robert, letting her eyes flick toward the man. But then something happened. Another man stepped out from behind a pillar. He was holding a camera, but he wasn't photographing Marilyn. He was photographing the first man, and his face showed fear. Robert's voice crackled, sharp. We have 2 subjects. Team Alpha, eyes on the man near the entrance, gray suit. Team Beta, the photographer, brown jacket. Do not approach. She reached the theater entrance. But before she crossed, the man in the gray suit smiled at her. Intimate, knowing. And then he mouthed 3 words. You look beautiful. Present tense. As if he'd been in her bedroom watching her sleep. Marilyn's composure cracked. Real terror flashed across her face. Robert was moving now. But the man wasn't running. He was walking toward Marilyn, and his hand was reaching into his jacket. Security appeared. But he kept coming. Then the photographer did something nobody anticipated. He dropped his camera and ran, toward Marilyn, and he was shouting, Stop him. Robert reached the man first, caught his arm as his hand emerged. Not holding a weapon, holding an envelope. But the photographer grabbed Robert's arm, words tumbling out desperately. That's not him. I've been watching him because I thought it was him, but it's not. The real danger? He's someone else. Someone who has access. Someone she trusts. Someone who's here right now, backstage. He ends his shift in 20 minutes. Robert looked at the photographer, then at Marilyn. What if one stalker wasn't a stranger at all? What if he was backstage right now? The clock was ticking. Robert followed the photographer to the theater's upper lobby. The story he heard made his blood run cold. The photographer's name was David Walsh. His hands shook as he pulled out a folder. Photographs spilled across the floor. Robert knelt down. They were all pictures of one man, the man at the studio gates, outside Marilyn's home at 3 a.m. Who is this? His name is Marcus. Marcus Reed. He's Marilyn's driver. It has been 3 years. Robert's stomach dropped. Her driver. I noticed Marcus because he was always watching. After he'd dropped Marilyn off, he wouldn't leave. He'd park down the street, watching. I started documenting it. Then one night, I followed him to Marilyn's house. She wasn't home. But Marcus was there, and he let himself in. With a key? Robert. He was in there for 45 minutes. In her bedroom. He came out carrying something small. The way he held it, it was like treasure. Robert felt sick. The hair, the ribbon. I kept following. I saw him stealing things. He's building a shrine. And the letters. I saw him mailing them. Why didn't you go to the police? I tried. They laughed me out. Where is Marcus right now? He's here. I saw him backstage. His shift ends in 18 minutes. But there's something else. He talks to himself. He mentioned another name, Thomas. Said Thomas was the dangerous one. I think there are 2 of them. Robert touched his earpiece. All teams. New primary suspect. Marcus Reed. Marilyn's driver. Find him but do not approach. Also, search employment records for anyone named Thomas. Robert's earpiece crackled. Team leader. Visual on Marcus Reed. He's backstage near the dressing rooms. And we found another name. Thomas Hendricks. Stagehand. 6-year employee. He clocked in, but no one's seen him for 20 minutes. Robert started running. Find Thomas Hendricks. Intermission at 15. That's when they'll move. Robert burst through the backstage door. The corridor was dimly lit, quiet. At the end of the corridor, standing outside Marilyn's dressing room, was Marcus Reed. Robert drew his weapon. Marcus, step away from the door. Marcus turned slowly. His face was calm, serene. She's not there. She's in the theater. Marcus smiled. I know where she is. I always know. I'm her driver. But I needed to check, to make sure Thomas hadn't left anything. You've been sending her letters, breaking into her house. I've been keeping her safe. All those people, they don't love her. They love fantasy. But I love her, the real her. By terrifying her, by warning her about the real danger. David Walsh appeared at the corridor's end. Marcus saw him. You've been following me? I've been trying to protect her from you. Marcus laughed. Protect her from me? I'm not the danger. Thomas is. Thomas Hendricks. He's a stagehand. He's been planning to take her for months. He has a cabin, chloroform, and you're wasting time on me. His hand moved to his jacket. Robert's finger went to the trigger. Marcus, don't. But Marcus pulled out a photograph. Marilyn candid, laughing. Do you see this? This is who she really is. But first I had to stop Thomas. Marcus looked directly at Robert. Desperate now. There's someone else. Someone worse. Thomas has been planning this for years. He's here, right now, backstage, waiting for intermission. Marcus pulled out another photograph. A man Robert didn't recognize. This is Thomas. Thomas Hendricks. Stagehand at Fox. 6 years. I've been documenting him. The letters I sent were warnings. David, call it in. Robert's earpiece crackled. Team leader, problem. Thomas Hendricks clocked in, but no one's seen him for 20 minutes. We found something in his locker. Rope, clothes, a map to a location in the mountains. Robert felt ice flood his veins. Where's Marilyn? Still in the theater. Intermission in 8 minutes. Send 2 agents to her location. Find Thomas Hendricks. I'm not lying. Marcus was desperate. Please. I know what I did was wrong. But this is real. Thomas is real. Robert lowered his weapon. Stay with him. Find me everything on Thomas Hendricks. He started running toward the theater. Behind him, Marcus called out, Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I see her. And tell her to check the flowers. Thomas always brings flowers. Chloroform. Robert burst through the theater doors as the house lights came up for intermission. The audience was standing, and in the center was Marilyn. Safe, beautiful, smiling. But as Robert pushed through the crowd, he saw something that made his blood run cold. A stagehand approached her from behind, carrying a bouquet of flowers, and Marilyn was turning to accept them, completely unaware that hidden among the roses was a cloth soaked in chemicals. Robert had seconds. He ran, shouted, lunged. Everyone expected Marilyn to scream, to run, to freeze in terror, but instead she stepped forward, past Robert's protective arm, and spoke directly to the man who'd been planning to take her, and her first words were, Thomas, I see you. Robert had lunged through the crowd, knocked the bouquet from Thomas Hendricks's hands just as Marilyn was reaching for it. The flowers scattered. The chemical smell hit the air immediately. Chloroform. Security descended, grabbed Thomas's arms. The crowd gasped. Thomas was struggling, not to escape, but to reach Marilyn, tears streaming down his cheeks. Please, I just wanted to save you, take you somewhere safe. Robert had his weapon drawn, shouting orders, but Marilyn did something no one expected. She raised her hand, small but commanding. The noise died down. Thomas stopped struggling. Let me talk to him. Marilyn, no. This man was going to harm you. He was going to take me. There's a difference. Robert, I need to do this. 5 minutes? I'll be right here. Marilyn turned to face Thomas. The crowd was silent. Marilyn walked closer. He was crying. My whole body was shaking. Why me? Out of everyone in the world, why me? Because you're the only one who understands loneliness. So you watched me. I learned my habits. Planned to take me away. He reached toward her. Security tensed. I was going to save you. From all of this, the fame, the pressure, she stepped closer. Thomas. Look at me. Thomas, I am myself. This is who I am, the woman who chose this life, who wants this, even with all its costs. You don't want it. I've seen you cry. You've been listening to my phone calls? I've been working backstage for 6 years. I hear everything. You're right. I'm not always happy. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I feel trapped. But that's my right. My sadness. You don't get to decide what I need based on the pieces of my life you've stolen. I wasn't stealing. I was witnessing. No, you were consuming me. There's a difference between seeing someone and devouring them. You wanted to take me to a cabin, isolate me from everyone, control my existence. That's not love, Thomas. That's imprisonment. Thomas took a step forward. Security restrained him. I would never hurt you. You already have. You violated my privacy, made me afraid in my own home. That's harmful, Thomas. Real harm. Thomas was sobbing now. But I love you. I've loved you for 6 years. You love the idea of me, a fantasy built from stolen moments. You don't know me. Do you know what real love is, Thomas? It's seeing someone completely and giving them freedom to be themselves. What you feel isn't love. It's an obsession. An obsession destroys everything it touches. Then what am I supposed to do? You get help. You talk to someone. You learn that other people aren't objects for you to possess or control. The theater was silent. Hundreds, watching her dismantle his delusion with truth and compassion. I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting you. I don't need protection from my own life. I need respect. I need privacy. I need freedom to make my own choices. Can you give me that? Thomas nodded, still crying. He wasn't dangerous anymore, just a sad, broken man facing reality. Marilyn turned to Robert. He needs help, not just jail, real help. Robert nodded. We'll make sure. I hope you find peace, Thomas. Real peace. The kind that doesn't require controlling another person. Then she walked away, head high, shoulders back, taking her power back with every step. The crowd parted. And as she passed, people started applauding. Real applause. The kind you give when you've witnessed genuine courage. Robert caught up with her outside. She was leaning against the building, shaking. That was the bravest thing I've ever seen. I couldn't let him leave without understanding what he'd done. I had to break the delusion. For both of us. And Marcus? Marcus was obsessed too, but differently. He thought he was protecting me, but at least he tried to warn me. That doesn't excuse what he did, but maybe it means there's hope for him too. You changed 2 men's lives tonight. You could have had them both locked away, but instead you gave them truth. That's remarkable. I've been on the receiving end of too much cruelty to add more to the world. They weren't evil, just broken and lonely. Shall we go back inside? I believe there's still a premiere happening. If Marilyn's words about the difference between love and obsession resonated with you, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. This conversation matters more than you might think. 3 hours later, Marilyn sat in Robert's office, watching through one-way glass as police interviewed Thomas. What's he saying? He's been planning this for 4 years. He has maps of your house. He rented the cabin 2 years ago. There's a bedroom decorated with your movie posters. Marilyn closed her eyes, felt sick. And Marcus? Marcus has been cooperative. He confirmed everything about Thomas. The letters he sent you were genuinely meant as warnings, but his method just made things worse. Will they both go to prison? Thomas will. Marcus is more complicated. He violated your privacy, but his information did lead us to Thomas. What do you want to do? I want them both to get help. Real help. I don't want revenge. I just want to feel safe again. Court-ordered psychiatric treatment. Restraining orders. Robert, can I ask you something? Why did you believe me? Because I know what it's like to be invisible. When I worked for the FBI, I was Chinese in an organization that didn't always see past that. It taught me that when someone says they're afraid, you believe them. Fear doesn't lie. Thank you. Robert, I want to make a statement. To the press, are you sure? I'm tired of secrets. If I stay silent, the next woman who has a stalker will think she's being paranoid. I want to tell the truth. Then let's write that statement together. She left then, walked out where photographers were already gathering, and instead of hiding, Marilyn Monroe stopped. She faced the cameras, and she told her story. The truth, the fear, the violation, the courage it took to confront her stalkers, the compassion she chose to show them. When she finished, a young female reporter raised her hand. "Miss Monroe, aren't you afraid this will affect your career?" Marilyn looked at her with clear eyes. "I'm more afraid of teaching young women that they should stay quiet to protect men's feelings or Hollywood's bottom line. If my career ends because I told the truth about being stalked, then it wasn't much of a career to begin with." And across America, women who'd been silent about their own stalkers felt something stir. Permission, validation, hope. What the world never knew about Marilyn Monroe was that on the night of her greatest triumph, she didn't defeat a stalker with security or weapons or fame. She defeated him with the one thing no one expected from a Hollywood goddess. She treated him like a human being. In the weeks that followed, letters arrived at Marilyn's home. Not threatening ones this time. They came from women who'd been stalked, followed, harassed, dismissed when they asked for help. Marilyn read every single letter, and she answered them. She told them to trust their instincts, to document everything, to speak up. Fear doesn't lie. Thomas Hendricks was sentenced to 15 years in a psychiatric facility. Marcus Reed accepted a plea deal, 5 years probation, mandatory psychiatric treatment, and a permanent restraining order. He wrote Marilyn a letter from the treatment center 6 months later. He apologized without excuses and thanked her for seeing him as someone who could change. She never wrote back. But she kept the letter. Robert Chen became more than Marilyn's security consultant. He became her friend, her partner in creating something new. Together, they started a foundation. It funded security systems for women who couldn't afford them, trained police officers to take stalking seriously. One letter came 6 months after the premiere. "I am from Ohio. A college student named Sarah. Her professor had been following her home. She'd read Marilyn's statement, called the police. He was arrested." The letter ended, "You saved my life without knowing my name." Marilyn kept that letter, framed it, put it on her office wall. David Walsh became an investigative journalist. His first major piece was about the systemic failure to protect women from stalkers. The article won awards, changed laws in 3 states. And Marilyn? She kept making movies. But something had shifted. She was more careful about who she let into her inner circle, more willing to say no to demands that felt invasive. When young actresses came to Hollywood looking dazzled and overwhelmed, Marilyn would find them. She'd share her story. She'd tell them about Thomas and Marcus, about the difference between admiration and obsession, about trusting their fear. One young actress asked her how she stayed brave when the world felt so dangerous. Being strong doesn't mean being fearless. It means being afraid and choosing kindness anyway. 6 months after the premiere, a letter arrived at Marilyn's home. Her hand shook as she opened it. Inside, 3 words, "Thank you, Marcus." She didn't respond, but she kept the letter in the same drawer where she'd kept his threatening ones, a reminder that people could change, that she'd changed too. That night, she slept with the lights off for the first time since February. No lock of hair arrived in the morning. No shadow watched from the corner. Just silence. Just safety. Just her. And for Marilyn Monroe, that was the greatest triumph of all. If this story reminded you that courage isn't about being fearless, it's about choosing compassion even when you're terrified, hit that subscribe button. If you believe Marilyn's message that every person deserves to feel safe and seen for who they truly are, leave a link to help share her story with someone who needs to hear it. And if you know someone who's been made to feel that their fear isn't valid, share this video with them. Because sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is believe someone when they say they're afraid.